Greetings, people of Earth. Welcome one, welcome all to What the Hell Did I Just Watch? This is episode 18 with me, your host, Oscar, reeling indeed. Welcome one, welcome all to episode 18 of What the Hell Did I Just Watch? And upon this very episode, we're going to be talking about the mind. Yes, the mind is a powerful thing. The mind controls a lot. The mind has more power and will than you know. Yes, indeed, it is wacky, it is wild, and there's only one place you can never truly escape, and that is your mind. That is yourself. You are trapped, or you exist, you experience your own mind 24/7, non-stop, full force to the brim. But of course, the mind is your mind if it is your mind, and you have full control. Or do you? That is the power of the mind. Does the mind want you to believe that you have full control, or do you genuinely have full control? I mean, you can turn up the volume, you can turn down the volume, you can project as much and as little as you do so wish, because whatever you do up there, you can put out into this world, into this planet, onto this planet we call home. That is where the power of the mind comes in, because if you think about it, go back through time, jump through the realms, jump back through history, keep going and going all the way back. I mean, sometimes you don't even have to go back that far. Sometimes you don't even have to go back that far, because upon this very moment, upon this very timeline, there's things that exist that didn't exist 2, 3, 4, 10 years ago, anywhere around there, 2, 3, 4 years ago, 10 years ago, only just that little bit jump. I mean, I guess if you could truly jump back 10 years, you wouldn't see it as a little bit of time, you know. You wouldn't. 10 years is a big chunk of time. 10 years is a full-on decade. 10 years is enough for someone to be born and to grow up to a certain point where the mind is developed and things have been learned, things are still being learned, things are being studied, it's evolving, it's changing 24/7, 10 years, holy hell. But think about that. If you go back to a certain point, like, you know, let's take 1980. 1980, 1981, 1982, 1983, 1984, 1985, and so on up until 1988. 1988. Now, if you know what's specific about 1988, it's 1 year before 1989. And what happened in 1989? I'll tell you. 1989 was the dawn and the birth of The Simpsons. Now, if you know exactly, I mean, I don't need to say, because I feel everybody watching this very episode, this very show, knows what The Simpsons is. But in 1980, 1981, 1982, and so on, all the way up to 1988, or should we say 1989, these particular souls, these people, humans that existed, they existed throughout their time, 10 years, almost 10 years, without The Simpsons. No Simpsons whatsoever. And then 1989 hits and The Simpsons is born. The Simpsons is crafted, is created, it's birthed before us. That is the power of the mind. The mind that created The Simpsons, that still creates The Simpsons to this day. And we know about The Simpsons. That is why I brought it up. If you know about The Simpsons, you know about The Simpsons. That power, that mindset, that belief, that hope, that visual energy, the energy that emanates from your brain, from their brain, from all the creators' brains, from all the humans' brains. They know. And that's what I'm saying. There was a moment before humans lived without The Simpsons. There was a moment before humans lived without electricity. Humans lived without donuts. Humans lived without medical care or protection from certain things. Vaccinations. Humans lived without TVs. Humans lived without certain types of clothes. Or if you go back far enough, humans lived without clothes. And, you know, if you truly believe it, if it's there in your mind, because your mind can craft and create anything you feel, and it can believe and emanate things you feel. Anything. Like, do you believe, if you go back far enough, if you had the ability to travel in time, would you seek dinosaurs? Would the dinosaurs roam the earth? If you went back far enough, would the Egyptians be there, swarmed in aliens? Would they be the ones crafting the pyramids? Who knows? The mind is a beautiful thing, because the creations that the mind crafts, like, you know, someone created donuts, someone created TVs, electricity. I mean, we know a lot of these particular souls, you know, Einstein, Edison, Mozart, Matt Groening, who created The Simpsons. Like, we know a lot of these epic minds. And of course, the one that everybody's been raving about lately, Oppenheimer, the craft and creator of such power, such force, such energy, beautiful, magnificent, but yet so destructive, so evil, and so deadly. Was he enough? He was indeed, because it was the same time. We know that show. And of course, the creator of Barbie, the crafter and the bringer of life of Barbie, they were enough. It was all enough. It was epic. Like, that's what I'm saying. There was a point in time where the world lived without Oppenheimer. The world lived without that energy, that force, that magnificent beauty as people witnessed it for the first time. But it was perhaps a devil in disguise, twisted, demonic, evil forces crafted, things created. I mean, there was moments of people who were destroyed and devastated by their own creations, by their own crafts, by their own techniques. But they persevered. I mean, there was a certain individual who invented the electric chair, and of course another individual who improved the electric chair. And of course they thought, you know what, we'll try it out, we'll test it. And they tested it upon him. So boom, he is gone. But the mind is powerful, the mind is willing, and the mind never gives up, and it never gives in. Because it's amazing, it is amazing that if you think about the creations that exist in this very moment, that exist today, gaming consoles, electricity, fire, you know, donuts, I'm going to mention that a lot. Coffee as well. Coffee, holy hell. If you, certain types of clothing. Marvel. Look at that. Look at that. Marvel, the creator. There was a moment in time where the world existed without this creation bliss, where the world existed without Marvel or comic books, or as well, the world existed without air travel, without aeroplanes. The souls of the mind crafted that. They created that. It was absolutely amazing. And of course, there's a lot of wacky, weird, insane creations. I mean, there's, you know, Japan is a hellfire realm to go to for the power of the mind. There are many epic crafts and creators, scientists and geniuses that live and emanate in Japan, because they've invented hella things. Like, they've invented a chip grabber. like to grab your chips if you don't want to touch them. They've invented like weird, wacky, like eye massages and sleeping masks and like thimbly things. You know, did they invent the I don't know, that looks weird. But the finger gloves, you know, it's just a finger and it's a glove that goes on your finger and it doesn't cover any other part of your hand. It just covers you. Who invented that? Who the hell? It's like, you know what? I can't be bothered putting an entire glove on my hand, so I'm going to invent a little glove that just covers my finger. And, you know, you can get 18, so you can put them on. I mean, I've seen people use it in the kitchen when they cut raw chicken, raw meat, and they don't want to sort of put a full glove on. They put the finger gloves on, and they just use their fingers, and, you know, the palm and everywhere else the gloves don't cover, don't touch, as well as the chip grabber. You just, you know, the back scratcher as well, to scratch your back, like, oh, I've got an itch, it's like, boom. Or the chip stealer, or the food stealer, which is an extendable fork, and you can, you know, reach over and, like, thinking about it, how, like, if you think, like I've mentioned this before, if you think about it, right, genuinely use the power of your mind. When these things were created and crafted, why then? Why were they created and crafted at that exact time? Like, why did somebody... You know what we need? We need a chip grabber. You know what we need? A back scratcher. Wait a minute, whoa. You know what we need? A toaster. I've got some bread here, and I want it crispy and crunchy. Maybe. Of course, they perhaps didn't have the names of these creations and inventions at the time. You know, it's like, oh, I'm hungry, I want something delicious and food-gasmic, and, you know, like, I want something that's going to make me go, damn! You know, something delicious and sweet and filling. A donut, how about a donut? I'll craft that right here. And I'm like, holy hell, you know, I'm thirsty, I want something to drink, but I'm a bit tired, you know, I want something that'll give me that epic flavour, that epic delicious taste that I can go, damn, that is fire. And I want it to be, whoa. How about I make some coffee? How about I invent some? Like, why then? Like, you know, I mean, I know coffee is centuries old, and there's a lot of things that are centuries old, but why didn't, I mean, of course, it's probably due as well. Thinking, power of the mind, bam, 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 that's what it is. Thinking about, you know, materials and things that are done at the time, at the moment of history. But people, if you look, like, people look, and souls look, and I look, and it's boom, it's to the brain. It's like so shaking and shocking, and like it like, what does it do? It stuns your brain, it stuns your mind. Like, if you look, I'm going back, if you look at the Egyptians and the way they crafted, the way they built, and again with the Aztecs and all the great crafters and builders and architects of history, they used their mind, they used their thinking, they used their power and will and energy of creation, and they built these things. And, you know, I've seen hundreds of Egyptian documentaries because I'm fascinated by it. I love my documentaries. I've seen thousands of documentaries about everything and anything, especially Egyptian ones, and architecture and like uncovers, and there's a good one that's called What If We Drained the Ocean, and life after people. What if we drained the ocean? Boom, the mind, holy hell, you watch that and your mind goes buzz, your mind freaks out, and you watch the Egyptian ones, and like the tunnels they dug to the tombs that go miles, like 4, 5, 6, 7 miles underground, and people like souls, architects, experts with their minds, with their power, with their craft and creation, and the way they think and the way they can perceive things and see things. They're like, how the hell is this possible? How the hell is this here? What, like, under this tomb, there's like a 10-mile long tunnel with tunnels that sprout off of it, catacombs underneath. Like, how did they dig this? How do they do this? How the hell? Like when you see, oh, bumblebees, they can't fly because their, body to mass to the wings, it doesn't add up. But their mindset is, you know what? God damn, I'm going to do it. I believe. And they fly. Holy hell, the power, and they're a bumblebee. Can you imagine? I mean, I'm not saying, no, definitely not. Don't try and fly. If you're going to try and fly, start on the ground. Both feet on the ground and believe. Believe. If you can take off from there and fly just like a bumblebee can, because a bumblebee doesn't need to jump off anywhere high to fly. They can be firmly chilling, rolling, mellow and vibe upon a flower, then they take off. So if you can, both feet firmly on the ground, if you can use your power of your mind, if you can use your thinking, your craft and creation and your full-on belief, if you can take off from them, then you rocked it. You do that and let me know, because I'll give it a try. I will give it a try. I would love to do that. But that's what I'm saying. It baffles the mind. It shakes the mind. And if you could travel back to then, would you see extra help? Would you see the Egyptians being gifted extra help from above or from another world? The gateway to the realms is open. Holy hell! See, it makes you think. It makes you think. And that's what I'm saying, that at the time, they were so advanced. They were rocking it wild. And they were building and crafting things. So why didn't they think, let's snap our fingers? Not like bam, bam, bam. But why didn't they think, you know what we need? Electricity. You know what we need? We need, heat. We need warmth. We need insulation. You know what we need? We need phones. We need internet. You know what we need? We need certain ways of getting around, Basically what I'm trying to get at is, back then, why didn't they think to invent or gift life to creations we have now? Like, can you imagine? Think about it. Think if the Egyptians or anyone back then, the advanced architects of this earth that built the structures around the world that baffle us to this very day, that you take a look at and you think, how is this here? How was this built like this then? Can you imagine if they'd have crafted aeroplanes, cars, TVs, toasters, hoverboards, if they'd have crafted certain types of transport, electricity, if they'd have invented that, if they'd have invented certain ways of clothing, certain things we have today, and coffee, coffee's been around forever, chocolate's been around forever, like holy hell, they were rocking it epically well, they were bringing it, and they were dominating, and my mind is shaking, and I can feel the heaviness. Wow, there's a lot there, but can you just think about it? Just think about it. Like, the great architects, the great creators, the great crafters, the thinkers and doers and projectors of our time, even souls that have written about things. Like, I'm going to take one epic example about the crafters and creators, the souls that have written upon page, that projects to our minds, that makes us think, holy hell, is this real? And will we ever know? And there is a way to know. You have to journey there. And speaking of journey, I speak of Jules Verne, journey to the centre of the earth, or, 20,000 leagues under the sea, all this, that and the other. They built the Noculus, they built the transport, and they went down under the ocean to see what was there. He wrote that, he crafted that. And if you've watched the movies as well, it's real. It happened. He did it. He built it. He crafted it. He went down into the ocean. And of course, he went in to the center of the earth. An earth within an earth. A world within a world. Now, do you believe it? I mean, I'm not going to lie, a lot of souls out there truly believe that our earth isn't this. It's this. And if you feel and believe that, then truly, is there not a world within a world? There should be. There should be a world within a world. Our world and another. Think about it. Jules Verne wrote these. Jules Verne crafted these quite some time ago, hundreds of years ago. Maybe a couple of, well, many decades ago now. Many decades ago. I won't say centuries. Maybe it was. Maybe it was. Time ticks away. But Jules Verne crafted and created these blissful creations from his mind, using the power of the mind, using the will and the energy of the mind to gift life, to bring life to these adventures. Now, the writers of our time, the writers of today and then and there, have crafted some epic creations, especially back then, because there was a different way of projecting your mind, a different way of getting the juices flowing, a different way of thinking and knowing, and hellfire, it was epic. Now, that makes me think and wonder, why were things created and crafted when they were? Why not 20 years before their time? Like, The Simpsons came out in 1989, we've said this. Why didn't it come out in 1975 or 1982? Why then? And, of course, you know, iPhones and Apple and Samsung and all these phones, all this tech, why did they do what they did when they did? Why didn't they do it 20 years before their time or 10 years before their time? I mean, I understand it's due to materials, due to crafts and creations, because the power of the mind is limited sometimes to the error, to the time, to the materials. I mean, if we take quite a lot of those great minds that existed, you know, 100 years ago, 200 years ago, 300 years ago, or even, you know, 500-600 years ago, and brought them here to this very moment and showed them around and said, look, this is the world as it is today. These are the materials and creations we live amongst, we live with. What can you do? What can you create? I would love to see that. That'd be hella interesting to see what those minds, those powers, that energy of their minds would gift life to. What would they create? How would it change and affect the world? And I will also say, those epic architects, those powers of the mind, the skill, the will, the energy, the spiritual force of their minds did not get blocked, was not prohibited by their time. They had their creations, they had their materials, they existed when they did. And what was around them, what was surrounded them, what they lived amongst, did not stop them from creating and gifting life to their creations, to their legacy, their empire. Their mind was not stopped. It kept on flowing, it kept on rocking, and holy hell, this is what the world is today, upon this very moment. Thanks to them. Hell to the yes. Now I can't wait to see what crafts and creations, what powers of the mind will soon follow and soon flow. Think about it. Speak loud, speak proud. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you feel. And what do you think? What do you feel? And how does your power, your mindset affect you? How do you perceive the world? How do you see things? How do you craft? How do you create? And how do you feel about the creations that already exist? And would you do something differently? This has been What the Hell Did I Just Watch? And truly that makes sense. What the hell? What the actual hell? The mind? Badam! I've been your host, Oscar Ridley, and this has been episode 18. The power, the will, the energy, the unstoppable force of the mind. Speak loud, speak proud. Let me know what is running through your mind exactly right now. Write a scroll, send a rave, and leave a comment down below. I will see you in the next episode, episode 19. Holy hell, we're nearly on 20 episodes. What the? Exactly. And when in doubt, let your mind let it out.